Hello everybody, hope you guys are having a great Monday. This upload is a bit late just because I had to make all these weather graphics for our weekly forecast from the 2nd of December all the way up until the 8th of December. We're not going all the way up until Monday because I do want to make this, even though I'm making this on Monday, I want to make the next one on a Sunday and kind of continue on a Sunday. I forgot to make this forecast yesterday. I was thinking of doing it, but Winter Storm Ezekiel got me sidetracked, and I ended up making a video on that instead. So we're gonna get into our forecast here. I want to bring this series back. So tell me if you guys do like this type of content by leaving a comment telling me that you like this content, or just leaving a like. Or if you don't like this content, just tell me down in the comments, and I can make some different type of videos for you guys. Now here's your first layer, and this is your temperature anomalies for the 2nd all the way to the 8th. So this is going to go from today all the way until Sunday. Slightly below average, spanning all the way across the East Coast, and that's pretty much from the Gulf states up through into the Carolinas, up into the Mid-Atlantic, and then into the Northeast, where you could be seeing some slightly below average conditions. Now here's your below average temperatures. So this is your moderate below average temperatures, and this is gonna be for Louisiana into southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, all of Florida, southern Georgia, and southern South Carolina. This doesn't mean that these areas are going to be the coldest out of all of these, out of every single, out of all the rest of the areas, but this just means that they'll be the most below average. So they look to be about 10 degrees below average on average for the entire week. So it'll be a pretty cold week compared to your normal down in the southeast and the Gulf states. Now here's your slightly above average layer, and this is spanning for a good western 2/3 of the country, all the way from the Great Lakes down into the Ozarks and then into the southern plains. And then you kind of get excluded here if you're in western New Mexico, southwesternmost Colorado, southern Utah, all of Arizona, and then southeastern Nevada and southeastern California. You'll kind of be a little bit below average and a little bit above average in those areas. So I'm not putting you in the slightly above average. You'll just be in a normal average week for this. It'll kind of average out to an average week this week. Here's your moderately above average, and that's going to be over parts of into Montana, North Dakota, and then northeasternmost parts of Idaho, where you could have the most above average conditions. We're going to be seeing a couple of systems move through. It's going to be a fairly dry week. Only a couple of systems moving onto the west coast, but that's going to lead to some warmer temperatures. So you're going to kind of see a ridge and then kind of a dip. And the east coast looks to be fairly below average most of this week. A couple of warm shots just for a day or two, but for the most part, it's going to be below average over these areas. Now, here is your precipitation forecast, so where it's going to be below and above average as far as precipitation is concerned. So we'll start off with our slightly below average, and you see we have two areas of slightly below average. We have one from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota eastward, and including the southern Great Lakes, and then into the northeast, excluding northernmost parts of the northeast, including northern upstate New York, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and then northern Maine. Now, for the northeast, the northwest, we also have another area of slightly below average, and that's for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Now, as we are at our next layer here, this is your moderately below average, and this is for parts of eastern Texas into a lot of Arkansas, most of Louisiana, excluding the New Orleans region, and then into northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, almost all of Tennessee, western parts of North Carolina, and then into most of Kentucky, westernmost Virginia, and then southern Indiana and Illinois, and southern Missouri. So all of these regions could be seeing moderately below average, as well as western parts of Oregon and parts of Washington State. Now, here is your third layer below average. That's your well below average area, and this is going to be from parts of westernmost parts of Washington State into northwestern parts of Oregon, as you're really going to be seeing most of your precipitation to your south here, and then to your north as well, up into Canada. So it's going to average out to a below average week. You'll still have some precipitation, but up in the in the northwest, you guys do expect a lot of precipitation. You guys are very wet up there, so you guys expect a lot of precipitation. So you're still going to be well below average, even though you might see a little bit of rainfall. Overall, you're not going to see too much rainfall, probably under half an inch for the entire week. Here's your above average regions, and this is for a portion of the southwest. Now, this is going to be for western Colorado, southwest Wyoming, most of Utah, including Salt Lake City, into the southern, I would say, 4/5 of Nevada, and then into the southern, like 3/4 of California, and then into western Arizona, and that's going to be slightly above average. You'll have this system that's going to move into the California, Nevada area, and that's going to bring some precipitation over these areas, and it doesn't take a lot for these areas to be above average in precipitation, and some mountain snow will be included in this. So if you know that you're a higher elevation area, of course this precipitation will be in the form of snowfall. Lower lying areas most likely in the form of some rainfall instead of snowfall. So now we're going to add our second layer. It's going to be moderately above average here, so that's for parts of western Nevada, and then into most of the southern 2/3 of California. So this is going to be where you're going to see most of that moisture, potentially 4 or 5 inches in some areas, especially once you get closer to the coast, and right to the west of these mountains. Some precipitation will get over the mountains, but you see a sharp decrease in your precipitation once you get east of these mountains, the Sierras. So here's your well above average area, and this is going to be for really, I believe, near the San Francisco area, near that area, and for much of central California. That's where you could be seeing well above average precipitation from basically just one event, where you could be seeing almost 6 inches of rainfall over some areas. I'm probably going to make a video on this. This week looks to be very boring. It's going to not be a lot happening, so we'll probably talk about this for a couple of days and then move on to probably a pattern change that we look to see coming up in the next couple of days. Now, we're gonna look at your special notes segment of this video, and we're gonna be looking at kind of just some special events that might happen. So this is your first special note, and this is Winter Storm Ezekiel, which is gonna be wrapping up. So you still have snowfall going on currently, as of when I'm recording this, which would be Monday night. And you still have some precipitation and snowfall over these areas, and a lot of snowfall at that. I believe south of Albany, there was somewhere that saw about 29.9 inches of snowfall. So very crazy how much snowfall was dumped just from Ezekiel, and there was really no other events during this. It was just Ezekiel that kind of transferred its low pressure off the coast of New Jersey and the south of Long Island, and that kind of brought a lot of snowfall to these areas today, and then it's going to continue moving northward into tomorrow. So if you do want more on that, go check out my recent video. I kind of timed all that out. It was made a day ago, but not too many changes in our forecast, and my forecast is actually holding up quite good. I predicted a southern track to this, more southern track, and that looks to actually be playing out. I kind of predicted that a lot sooner than a lot of people actually caught on. So I was predicting about 3 to 6 inches all the way down here, and then 6 to 12 about here. So that did look to actually come out, and we're going to be comparing my results to what actually happened. My forecast of what actually happened once Ezekiel's all done and wrapped up. So stay tuned for that. Now here is your next special note, and this is going to be for the southwest. You're going to be seeing that system that's going to be coming in, and that will be producing southwest rainfall for the lower lying areas. And then if you know that you're in a higher elevation areas, the Sierra Mountains, the mountains in Nevada and Utah, a lot of higher elevation areas there, then you'll most likely be in the form of snowfall. Anyways, that is gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. It really means a lot. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on post notifications so you never miss a video when I upload. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.